What's up, everybody? We'll see live. Let's talk about it. Magnus, Kalamazoo, New Jersey. Hey,
Hey guys.
what's up? Are you having pains and aches, everybody? If you're over the age of, I don't know, 30, it seems like all these aches and pains. Oh, my neck. I don't know about you, Magnus, but I wake up in the morning and I'm like, holy shit, why the hell am I so achy? Everything's just achy. I think, can't, I'm 51, and even though I'm in good shape, it just seems like, yeah, like I have to have the right pillow now. I have to sleep with 4 pillows. I got to have, this propped over here, that over there. Like, when you're 15, 20, 25 years old, you can sleep on rocks. It doesn't matter. Now everything is an ache, a pain, my knee, my back, my hip, my knee, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to really be on drugs if I don't have to. So what are some natural remedies that can help us kind of work this out? Magnus, what do you usually do that you would recommend or do for yourself that's a natural remedy for, like, an ache or a pain?
Unfortunately, I'm not doing this too much. Availability is the problem, but saunas.
Ah,
I love saunas.
I do take a piping hot shower though.
Not the same thing, unfortunately.
Okay.
Saunas are like, and now we're talking about dry saunas more than steam rooms. So hot saunas, it's a lot of interesting things because now there's been a lot of research going on and more to see the effects, what it actually can do. And there's a lot of things saunas helps out with. So it helps out with cardiovascular health. It helps out actually keeping muscle mass on. It helps out, for instance, if you have an injury, recovering from a surgery, things like that,
Right.
something called heat shock proteins that get activated by the heat in the sauna actually helps out to keep muscle mass and so on. So I think that since I grew up in Sweden, Sweden is still one of the countries that have traditionally been using saunas for quite some
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Not as much as if you look at our neighbor Finland that are like peak. They like most houses have or homes have a sauna, and they it's a big part of their culture. But I grew up. We had a sauna at home. We used it sometimes. We usually spend like when I went to a commercial gym, I usually went to the sauna quite a lot too.
People's saunas, are they in the house or like outside the house, like in a separate?
But it depends. Like it could be inside in a small room inside, or you have a separate one like outside, closer to water if you live close to water and so on. So you can actually do jump into like dig a hole in the ice, for instance, during winters, or roll in snow and things like that. So and probably like coming to that too, we have the hot cold combination going back and forth helps out with a lot of blood flow and blood restriction and so on. That is also very helpful.
That's interesting because I always thought too that you hear also the opposite, right? Going to the cryogenic deep
Yeah.
freeze, that helps to lower inflammation. So I wonder, that's odd, right? I mean, like, so cold constricts veins and arteries, heat expands them. But if you have an ache though, wouldn't heat make it worse?
Well, like, it's the same thing. It's playing sports. Where do you rather play sports? If it's ice cold or if it's warm outside?
Well, warm, yes. Blazing hot, no. But I also don't want to play in 10 degrees either.
Yeah, no, but I can tell you, I've done basically going from over 100 degrees down to very, very cold. We're talking about 0 Fahrenheit. So it's way better when it's warm outside because your muscles are more pliable, like you're flexible. It's you don't have to think about. Yeah, I mean it's hot, but hot is usually like better than cold. Yeah, you get tired, but like cold, you're constantly hurting, and it's not
Yeah.
fun.
So I guess, like, the question though is, like, if it's just a spot situation. So let's just say my wrist, okay, I sprained my wrist, I hurt my wrist.
Yeah.
Like, when do you put cold on? When do you put hot on? They say usually, what, cold right after the injury?
Yes. So the cold you use to actually reduce both pain and also you're trying to it like not so it doesn't swell up. But actually, it's better to actually have like compression on it. To be honest, that actually reduces the swelling even better. But you have to be careful there as well too, and not having it too tight. But they usually say no heat the first 48 to 72 hours because that's when you have like you can still have internal bleeding, you have a lot of like your body's recovering and things like that. So you should avoid warm like the first, I would say, 24 hours or 48 hours, so
Right.
at least.
Okay. And then they talk about food.
Depending on the injury, of course.
Right, right, right. And then they talk about food, right? Like things like ginger works is very
Yeah,
similar to an NSAID by blocking inflammatory compounds. Ginger tea or ginger
yeah,
capsule.
yeah,
A turmeric contains curcumin, which has a strong anti-inflammatory property. So
yeah.
you
Same
have a
thing. Omega 3
right
oils.
fatty.
Omega 3 oils are also
Right.
another thing that reduces inflammation.
Now, by the way, I'm not against taking medication, from a doctor, or even to take an Advil or Tylenol, but I think these can be, a good addition also.
I think like a combination of course is best. I mean, like we can say whatever we want about like Eastern medicine. I definitely think that they have a lot of knowledge. We're talking about thousands of years of actually like seeing how it works. So with natural remedies. And natural remedies definitely have an effect. You can see, for instance, like other things like coconut oil,
Yeah.
tea tree, things like that. It has an antifungal effect. So, for instance, you can have it on your skin and so on. I would say garlic has the same thing. You can either have it on your skin and also eat it. So, you have a double effect on that. And so, a lot of these things work. I mean, when it comes to we're talking about diet and things like that. We're talking a lot about these fungicides and things, the anti-fungicides that actually, like fungicides, as you say, so that actually kills off the fungus growth. For instance, are as efficient as many of the drugs, and that's just from eating, and of course also eating, restricting things that they feed off on, and then eating more things that they don't like. You can definitely help out with like parasites and so on. I'm not saying that that's the only way of doing it, but
Right.
it has shown a lot of positive
A lot
effects
of promise. Yeah.
and very few side effects
Yeah.
that a lot of medical drugs have.
100%. It's funny. I just had, was it yesterday? I was on my feet all day and my feet were just killing me. I have flat feet.
Yeah.
So a natural remedy that I did was I got one of the massaging, vibrating back massager things,
Hmm.
and I put it on the bottom of my feet for like 3 minutes each foot, and I just felt so much better, and I was able to just get up and go again. And so, versus just popping a pill or whatever. So
Yeah, and like looking at what you did, you probably did more of taking care of actually the source of the problem, that your flat feet are tired and things like that, trying to get like the muscle getting massaged and things like that, and increase blood flow and things like that, instead of something that masks it. So again, like you shouldn't suffer, like walk through and just kind of like toughen it out and things like that. And also, I mean, coming we always talk, always seek professional medical
of course, yeah.
help and ask them what they are. But again, like a lot of these things could be chronicle and things like that, which we are not as great as solving in with Western medicine. So
Yeah.
I'm always going for a holistic approach. I mean, the more kind of building blocks that you put in place, the better chance you have of getting rid of the source of the problem and looking into it. So yeah, I mean it. And again, food, like we have like herbs like thyme and rosemary and garlic, and all these things also are helpful in many ways. I mean, even like we're talking about citrus fruits and things like that, you get the different vitamins and everything. All these things are helpful for being healthy and not getting sick to start out with.
Yeah, I would say also too, watching your weight. The heavier you are, that
Yes.
causes inflammation, it causes
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
You know, right? Like just
But it's the same thing. Like, can I add another thing in
yeah,
regards to that? Like that comes to training too. A lot of
right,
people have a tendency to either we do nothing or we go like overboard, and I think that it's important. If your training is making you so sore that you're hurting so much that you cannot walk
that's
and
bad.
function normally, it's bad. You're overtraining, and we shouldn't. Like once in a while, yes, like if you feel like that is fun or you want to test yourself, but if that's your everyday life, it's bad. I mean, I talking about own experience, like completely overdoing it, being sore, getting injured easily, and so on. Toning it back a little bit. I mean, you get you get better results and you feel way better. That's one thing that I'm gonna say. Like, from retired from football now for 20 years, I can say that I probably feel my body probably feels better now than it did in my late 20s when I was like active. Like in sports, and that's something that you see a lot of, even professional players that unfortunately they could pass away earlier because of all the injuries, like it
Right.
adds up, or that they're carrying a lot of mass and things like that. So again, like, smart about this, like it should be like you should have some type of stimulation, like that it happens, that it has an effect, like a stressor. It shouldn't be like overstressed constantly, because you need to be able to recover.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's why, that's like sweat sleep, cryo, food, like all these things, they add up and they are important, and they do a lot of healthy things for us besides getting surgery and medical drugs and so on.
100%, dude. No, well put. And I think those are the natural remedies that can help. And folks, let us know what you use for natural remedies. There's so many out there. I'm sure we didn't even touch on, but
We just scratched the surface, barely even that. So
oh yeah, I mean you can go on all day long, but there's so much good stuff out there. And Magnus, anything else before we wrap up?
no, not really. I mean, I think we've like, this is just a start. Like, we want to hear from you guys, what you like. What are you doing for recovery and natural remedies?
100%. Put in the comment section below. Thank you, everybody. Check back in,
Bye,
okay?
guys.
Magnus, thank you as always. Signing us off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.